today we will be demonstrating something using two normal glasses. I got a spoon here, got some eggs over here that I did not cook up, and I got some ordinary table salt. I feel like I'm in a cooking show. So if this were my classroom, I would first have the children make this prediction. What will happen when you put an egg in fresh water versus salt water? And as they would be writing this down, their prediction, I would be filling these up with just normal water. To me, science is all about the reveal, so I like to not have some of these pre-prepared because I like to have the children see what I'm doing the entire time, because science is kind of like magic. So, what I would tell them is, as they make their prediction, what I'm going to do is we're first going to start with the unsalted water. So I would have an egg, and I would drop it in, or carefully drop it in. And, as they would notice, the egg fell to the bottom. So, as we've been talking about density and volume and mass and all that, they would try to tell me why this happened. And then I would do this. I would add salt to the next water. And I would tell them, as you can see, it's very murky right now, and so you would have to stir it up so all of those molecules get nice and friendly and the salt dissolves. When that is done, perfect. Do not drink. Alright, I would add another egg, and I would put it in, once the tornado stops, put it in the salted water. And, as you can see, I think, the camera, as you can see, the egg is now floating. I would, once again, make them write and tell me in their science journal why they think this is happening. And, just to sweeten the pot, if you would, what I would do, I would probably make some stupid joke, because that's what I do all the time. I would say something that, just so you know that I didn't fill this one with lead or something heavy, and, I took all the guts out of this one, I'm going to do something. I'm going to show you that this egg that was once in the salt water and the egg that was once in the fresh water, so I'm going to take the freshwater egg, I'm going to put in the salt water, just so they know that nothing was tampered with, and I didn't do something mysterious or, awesome, which science is awesome. But so they know that they were the same, and it still had the same effect. But why does this happen? My class would have already been talking about this. The conclusion for it, they would have to write and draw a picture, because I also want them to use multiple modalities and not just write. I want them to also draw a picture, somehow articulate to me why they think this is happening. And as they're doing that, I would talk to them about how water, well, everything has density. The water has density. The water has a very low density. And that's why the egg has a much higher density than water, and so that's why it sinks, because it's much heavier. However, salt has a very high density, and it's also, salt is known as a descant, and so that could be a term that I could give them that day. Salt is a desiccant, and what that means, it's basically, salt is absorbing the water. It's basically, the salt molecules are binding with the water molecules, and so the salt molecules are filling up the water molecules, and that's why it's a little bit murkier. The mass has gone up just a little bit when you add the salt. However, the volume, the density has gone up tremendously, and so the salt is almost building a barrier in between the salt and the egg, so the egg can't go down farther in the water, and so that's why that's happening. I could also relate it to, if any children went to the beach or you go to the salt water. Well, if you get attacked by a shark and your legs don't work for some reason, you can just sit back and float, just like the egg, because salt water is much more dense. And that's why it's easier to float in salt water than it is in fresh water. So that's kind of my little spiel I would give them. And we would go from there and talk more about density and mass and how it relates to everything. And this is just a fun little project you could do.